always a reason of why we begin to feel like we don't have the vitality to live our life at that fullest level. It is more than I haven't slept enough, or I haven't taken my vitamins, or I haven't eaten well enough. The misunderstanding is that you can take 10 supplements to get your energy balanced or to get your energy back. So the first reason that tiredness or fatigue asks of us is to slow down, to give ourselves permission to slow down.
Hey, I'm Gillett, and this is the Power of Women podcast. And a big welcome back to Dr. Marina Christov, who has joined me previously, where we heard your amazing story of your journey into the realm of Eastern medicine and becoming an established practitioner over nearly 30 years. But I have asked Marina to come back today because our last conversation touched on treating the root cause of issues that impact our health and well-being. And today I'd like to do a deep dive into that because as Power of Women, we need to know how to maintain our energy and maintain our power. So we're going to go deeper into that conversation if I could today, because if you are feeling energetically blocked or just plain exhausted, this is the type of conversation you really need to take the time to listen to, because Dr. Marina Christov has an amazing insight into the holistic way of treating our health and well-being. So, Marina, welcome back to the Power of Women podcast.
It is a pleasure to be here.
And we are sitting in the most beautifully scented studio because Marina comes with a travelling kit bag of teas and sprays and all things beautiful.
I was going to bring flowers as well.
There we go.
I thought it would be nice to.
And in fact, I have to declare, so Marina invited me to the House of Life clinic recently before we recorded our first episode together. And she asked me when I was leaving what I had eaten, and it was one of those days where I'd been on the run and I hadn't eaten much. So not only did I have this divine treatment at the House of Life, I walked out with a takeaway of the most beautiful bunch of red grapes to nourish me on the way home.
Yes.
So all of that was just such a wonderful experience. So thank you.
You're welcome.
In our last conversation, we touched on how many of us are energetically drained, which would be something any one of us would say on any given day. I'm exhausted, I'm run down, I'm tired, I can't keep up. So when people say they're tired all the time, there is actually a reason for that in your view, because something's getting overlooked, is it not?
There is always a reason of why we begin to feel like we don't have the vitality to live our life at that fullest level. And it is more than I haven't slept enough, or I haven't taken my vitamins, or I haven't eaten well enough. Tiredness normally is a reflection of the inability to bring energy back to ourselves, the inability to listen to ourselves, the inability to ground our body with practices that recharge the energetic system, that calm the mind and balance our emotions.
So what's the most common misunderstanding? Because we're always self-diagnosing, saying I've been doing too much, or we've always got a reason. But what's the common misunderstanding in all of that?
Well, the misunderstanding is that you can take 10 supplements to get your energy balanced or to get your energy back. That is the misunderstanding, that you can do things on the run and fix the holes in that vase that is constantly leaking.
The why does the rubber band break story.
That's exactly right. So the first reason that tiredness or fatigue asks of us is to slow down, to give ourselves permission to slow down. And by slowing down, it doesn't mean drop everything that you're doing and become this living monk. It doesn't mean that at all. It means becoming mindful of where your breath is, where your energy is flowing. So even if you're in the car, you don't have to be in a yoga position in order to give yourself permission to slow down. It's a daily and a daily check-in with the self and a daily communication with the body. So you want to ask yourself, as you take a few deep breaths, take a deep breath, release the tension, come back to yourself, drop the shoulders, and ask yourself, what do you need right now?
Because most of us breathe up here, don't we? We don't breathe from deep within ourselves.
Well, because we're rushing, we don't allow the body to drop into that safe space where it can have a deep breath in. So that drains the body of energy because the body is constantly feeling like it has to run away from dangers and threats. The primitive brain kicks in. And even though these are normal tasks that we do every day, yes, the body is in a fight and flight response at all times. And that, of course, drains the battery. It's like having the phone on 24/7.
And that's what I was going to ask you. What are some of these everyday habits that we have in our lives that you see that actually are the constant drain that are depleting our energy reserves?
It's how we start the morning and how we end the day. I think they're the most crucial.
You hear that? How we start the morning and how we end the day.
Yes.
Okay.
So taking ownership of our day is for women in particular the most precious thing that you can do, and that requires giving yourself again time and permission to create space for yourself before the world starts pulling you in 100 different directions.
That's not waking up reading your emails before you sit up.
Absolutely not. In fact, the telephone needs to be always in another room and never next to your bedhead. So you never want to get that influx of information overload, even though you think sometimes that's entertaining or it's a way to relax. It is actually not.
So we need another alarm clock.
Well, the alarm clock is the sun. What you need to do is
sleep with the blinds open.
Yes, you wake up with that feeling of gratitude. So you come back, you anchor yourself in the morning. It's a brand new day. You don't want to have a repeat experience. You don't want to regurgitate your days and be on this treadmill of just repetitive robotic behavior. No, you use your morning as your sacred time. It is the new. So
what would be the perfect start to the perfect day of setting ourselves up?
So the perfect start would be waking up gently without an alarm clock, because you have set your body clock to recognize when it's time to wake up. Having a few deep breaths while you're still in bed. Having that feeling of, I'm so grateful I'm alive. Coming back to the truth.
And don't underestimate that.
That's right. I'm alive. I'm in a privileged position. I've got a car. I've got a home. I've got food. I've got all the necessities that other people in the half of the rest of the world might not even have. So you come back and you fill your own cup with that feeling and that heart, with that gratitude. And then you go downstairs or you go into the kitchen, you turn the kettle on, you prepare a herbal formula, you hydrate and you get that connection with Mother Nature through the herbs, and you take a few mindful steps, you center yourself before you start doing anything else. I like to put music in the morning. So that really relaxes me. I put frequency music sometimes. I put really relaxing music. I want my day to unfold beautifully. And then I do everything else. If not, then listen to the birds. Let the birds, the sound of the birds, the chirping of the birds, to put you in a harmonious state.
And when the seasons change, that's the beautiful sound that does wake you up.
And that is beautiful. And living in harmony with the seasons is the key to longevity. Knowing how to manage your energy season by season in alignment with what the season requires, that's true intelligent living.
Hold that thought, because I want to come back to that. But before we do that, how do we finish our day?
That is just as important. So you need to allow yourself time to cleanse from the day and from the experiences that you have accumulated throughout the day. It doesn't mean that every experience was negative, but being in this stressed out world and being empathic and being women, we tend to pick up a lot of the emotions and the energy of other people.
Yeah.
And we are the transformer of that energy. So we need to have cleansing practices. So I like my evening routine. I have dinner very early. I don't like to eat late. And I go and have a scrub. I always do a body scrub with essential oils. And that for me is I'm cleansing my field. I'm using the salts. I'm using the native botanicals from this country, the lemon myrtle. I'm using macadamia oil. It is a ritual. It's my moment. I close that door in the bathroom and I go into my healing sanctuary. And as a woman, that's where I get my power from. I cleanse, I prepare my body, I get rid of everything that I've absorbed, especially working with people who are not in a balanced state.
Yeah.
I need to be constantly shedding what I have picked up.
Absolute sense.
And then I have my relaxing tea, I have my journal, and I do my journaling. What I have achieved today, what I want to achieve, what some quotes that I came across, things that I have distilled from the interactions with other human beings, and it becomes this testament of how rich my life is, and it's beautiful. And I don't want to doom scroll and see every cat and dog video on the internet. I want to protect my energy, and then I apply magnesium oil on the soles of my feet. To ground and remineralize. That's very important. Sleep is very important for me. But it's this 3-step ritual. And then I can be renewed.
Magnesium on the soles of your feet. I need to take that up. I swallow magnesium, but I've never applied it.
Well, it absorbs very quickly.
Yeah.
And it is also an experience where you're touching your body. You're grounding yourself through that connection with the earth, which is your body, your vehicle. I'm not just popping pills all the time, which sometimes take a long time to digest, to absorb.
Yes.
This is immediate. And I'm touching the soles of my feet, and it becomes a sacred experience. It reminds me of...
And I know you do that in your treatment.
Yes, that's exactly right. It reminds me of this quote, maybe it was by Rumi, and it was a quote on meditation and why and what to do if you can't meditate. And his answer was, just by putting one foot ahead of the other and touching the soil or the earth with your feet, you are kissing the earth with your presence, and that is a meditation in itself. So it's presence, it's awareness, it's dropping from the head, dropping from the mind, from the 100 tabs that are open, from all the avenues that today, through technology and through the advancements of websites and everything else, and the technological world, social media, the internet, that is too much for our mind.
It's overload.
It's an overload. So coming back, you feel safe in your body. You nurture. You know how to fill your own cup. You know how to ground and nurture yourself.
Beautiful. So coming up, could we talk about the alignment with the seasons?
Yes, of course.
If you're loving the Power of Women podcast, be sure to jump on to our YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss an episode. So before we went to a quick break, you talked about alignment with the seasons.
Yes.
Could we expand on that?
Yes, of course. The seasons are signposts that give us this map of how to best attain harmony. And living with that harmony and understanding how to balance our mind and body with through the seasons, through seasonal alignment and seasonal living, will ensure that we have ample energy to then go into the next season and the next cycle recharged and refreshed. So for instance, the energy of autumn and winter is very different to the energy of summer and spring. So in this...
And we're heading into the colder part of the cycle in Australia, albeit we've got listeners from all around the world. But could we talk about the colder months?
Yes. So the colder months require, again, a nurturing and nurturing our energy, building our reserve energy, and going into a deeper state of being. And by that, I mean not wasting our energy excessively. It's like hibernation.
Yeah, I was about to
Winter
say,
is the ultimate hibernation. Yes.
Yeah.
So if we skip that process of slowly aligning with the days are darker, which in itself is a signal that we shouldn't be activating our nervous system with excessive light. We need to be turning our system down and focusing on exercises and practices that encourage us to really rest and therefore replenish. So the food as well that we eat during the autumn and winter season needs to reflect that building of energy. So the food needs to be slow cooked. It needs to be warmer. It needs to be more liquid.
So we get rid of our salads.
We get rid of our salads.
And we move into soups and broths. Yeah.
So we give our body soothing replenishment. It takes a lot of energy during winter when it's cold to digest cold natured food. So winter is not the time to be having yogurts and ice cream and smoothies and salads. I see a lot of women with blocked digestive systems, with a lot of bloating, with a lot of pain.
So that's the flow-on effect of eating the wrong thing out of season.
Absolutely. So we want to create warmth, which will create circulation. Because
we crave those types of foods as it gets cold, but it's more than a craving. It's our body telling us what we need.
We're programmed to live in harmony with nature. We are designed perfectly, and nature is designed perfectly to support us through each season.
Because it produces the
seasonal produce. Exactly. So I'm very big on encouraging my patients to eat seasonally and to support local farmers. Which means you are in close proximity with the food that is produced from the soil that you are living in, which by default means
climatically it's the right
it's
food.
the right thing. Exactly. And in the West we have...
It's pretty simple.
It's very simple. But when you go into a supermarket and you've got hundreds of choices...
And you've got mangoes in the middle of winter because we've brought them in from outside of the region in which we domicile.
Exactly. Or girls think that they're healthy by having their smoothies in the morning, which is horrific in my mind.
Freezing cold, icing drinks in winter.
Cold, it's cold outside. They go out with wet hair. They don't have any...
And we should be having oats and something warmer.
That's right. Cooking our fruits, having poached apples, poached pears, rhubarb, ginger. They're the kind of warming things. And straight away your body will feel comfortable. The digestive system will not have to work so hard to warm up the pot, so to speak, and therefore digest that food. So we're working economically. And it's the perfect alignment of, as I said, preserving our energy so that energy can feel stable, grounded, and rooted for that path or that stage of our evolutionary requirement.
So we make these statements of comfort food, and when we talk about winter foods, and then there's this misconception that means it's high calorie, high carb, high density, more fattening.
No, it doesn't need to be like that.
But it doesn't need to be like that.
No, it doesn't need to be like that. And it can be the most beautifully soothing experience that gives you the most important asset is that you have as a human being is your energy. Because when you have energy, when you're nourished from within, when your battery is full, you can fulfill your purpose. If you're running on empty and trying to follow every trend, and if you don't have that guidance, if you've disconnected yourself from those natural laws, then you will be chasing your tail, full of anxiety, and inevitably burn out or become completely depleted.
Yeah.
We have to eat like our ancestors used to eat.
Which was with the seasons, based on what nature provided us with.
Absolutely. Nature is our greatest ally.
So we should be shopping at markets and the local produce store and ditch the duopoly and keep away from it.
That is very important, and it's ironic that...
And that's exactly how I've shopped since COVID. I can actually put hand on heart, whilst I have... detergents and things delivered as online grocery. I am not exaggerating when I say since 2020, March 2020 was the last time I walked into a major supermarket.
Good.
Last time.
Good.
So Woolworths and Coles cannot rely on me for revenue because I'm not their primary target anymore.
Fantastic. And more women need to feel empowered to make those choices and think in terms of quality and not quantity, because unfortunately that type of food the natural food, the organic food tends to be a lot more expensive. But if you know how to reuse or utilize the food in many different ways, like our grandparents.
Yeah, they didn't waste anything.
They didn't waste anything. So then you are choosing to be more economical in the long term, and also you're really accentuating your health.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that ultimately the spend of the basket size to eat that way is in fact more expensive. I had this conversation on another podcast only a couple of months ago with Alison Cork out of the UK, and she's released her book Fit and Fabulous Over 50, and she's completely rewired her second act. She's the same age as I am. She's 61 and she's completely transformed herself through food and exercise, of which the transformation is 80% food, 20% exercise. But we were talking about this, and both of us have ditched sugar, refined sugar, and ditched ultra processed food more recently in our journeys. And in so doing, not buying things that come in bags and boxes from the supermarket. And I know in not doing that and not shopping that way, the cost of my basket size per week is less than it used to be if I was purchasing expensive ultra-processed items from the supermarket or wherever else I might have selected those things from. So I'd put it to you, and then to your point of we don't waste things, we use everything. So I discard very little. And I shop closer to the time of eating. And I shop totally within season.
Perfect. And the other secret element to activating our body's healing potential when it comes to food and food choices is the power of choosing food intuitively as well. So the more
what we feel we would like, is that what you're saying?
So not necessarily. So if we are balanced, and if we have started our morning routine by being intentionally anchored in creating a beautifully harmonious day, that then translates to the choices that we make when it comes to nourishing our body. So we're not looking again for the quick energy fix because I'm on the run, I'm depleted, so I'm just going to quickly grab this.
I'm grabbing the muesli bar full of sugar.
That's exactly right. So you go in again, you tune in with yourself, and you ask your body, what do you need? What do you need? And then when you go and see the produce, let's say on the weekend, you will be drawn. That's the power of the woman. You will be drawn to what you need to eat, to select. It's like in pregnancy. Why do women have cravings? It is exactly what the body needs. It's the same in any other cycle of a woman's life. And we need to honor that and not get misguided into choosing quick, nasty, cheap, energy empty, processed quick fixes. And then when you live in harmony with yourself like that, anything that is highly processed will feel repulsive. It will repel you.
It does,
Because your body knows what is real, and your body resonates. If you train your body to have that awareness, it is such a beautiful relationship. You can trust your body. If you are at the beginning stage of a cold, your body, if it's in harmony, will crave the mandarins. It will crave the lemons. It will crave
the vitamin C.
It will give you that, if you're pre-period or post-menopausal, it will crave the substances, the greens that will rebalance its energy.
So we need to learn to listen.
To go back to our original blueprint and to activate the wisdom that lives within. That is the power, and we all have it. We have just lost our way. We have lost our path by giving our power away and being too distracted from tuning in. So having space and time throughout the day, throughout the month, scheduling time for you coming back to yourself, whether it is through a loving treatment, whether it is through having scheduling a bath once a month if you can't do it every week, whether it is to saying no to things. Like, you are allowed to say no to places, parties, people that deplete you. Giving yourself permission to say, no, my energy needs to be recharged. I say that I'm very, very good with my no.
Yeah.
Because my yes is a full yes.
Yeah.
So having those boundaries, not being porous, not feeling like what I should. This is expected of me. Somebody will get upset. If they get upset, they're not truly your friend. They're not truly the person that has compassion for where you're at. So strong boundaries are very important. Saying no is very important. Listening to your own internal guidance system is very important, and we need to come back to that. Once you understand that, once you activate that within, the game changes.
So if I summarize what we've just heard from you about managing our energy and replenishing our energy and looking after our health and well-being, it is about how we start the day, how we finish the day. It is about being aligned to the seasons and responding to that, which is the guide to how we nourish the body by way of food.
Yes.
It is about being intuitive and listening to what we need. And then the last piece of that was to be very clear about setting our boundaries to ensure we don't allow others to railroad our journey.
Perfect.
Yeah?
Great summary.
There we go. See, I'm good at listening. I can talk, but I do like listening.
Beautiful.
Marina, that's amazing. That gives us such a clear and succinct roadmap to manage what is probably one of the biggest challenges we all face into, of feeling exhausted, feeling depleted, not having enough energy to keep going in our busy lives. I know this is our second date on the podcast. We need to do more.
Let's do more.
So we will do more. So if you've enjoyed this episode and have learnt from it, drop us a note, DM us, put it onto our socials on LinkedIn, on Instagram, via our respective websites, House of Life for Marina, Power of Women for myself, and let us know, because we want to be bringing you content that you want to hear. And I find the whole health and wellness thing just an endless font of information that I just can't get enough of. And I would like to explore longevity and how we live better longer. So if there are topics that you're interested in, let us know. I'll drop into the show notes that we can find, where we can find Marina at the House of Life, the links to Instagram and to our respective websites. And I promise we will come back and revisit another conversation with Dr. Marina Christov again. Thank you. Until next time.